Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the new season of MATC Now. I'm your host, Carrie Mahomes. On this episode, College Health and Safety Committee member Eric Goss will be with us live in the studio to talk about our health science program. Planning to get your bachelor's degree after MATC? We'll tell you how you can get a head start through the Lakeland University Transfer Program. All this and more coming up on this episode of MATC Now. We're coming to you live from the Milwaukee PBS studios inside MATC's downtown campus. Today, our co-host is Josie Veal, Public Health Advisor for MATC. Thank you for being here. How are you today, Josie?
I'm feeling well. How are you, Carrie?
I'm doing good. It's a little cold outside, but that's okay. It's all good. So tell us what you do in your role as the Public Health Advisor.
Sure. So I started in this role in September with the college. So as the Public Health Advisor, I work to complete our contact investigation processes. So that may mean a student who has tested positive for COVID, has been exposed to someone who has tested positive, or it could be a student who's experiencing signs and symptoms. I also work with our other departments on campus to ensure the safety of everyone on campus. So it could be operations, public safety, it could be our human resources department because they work with faculty and staff.
Wow, so you wear a lot of different hats. Have there been any other changes in the semesters or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Just a couple of them, maybe one or two?
Just a few.
Yeah, okay.
And so, absolutely. And so we transitioned rather rapidly in spring to a virtual online environment. As we looked at this semester, faculty really had the opportunity to use best resources and practices to work with the Center for Teaching Excellence to really develop academic programs for our students.
Okay, great. Staying positive through these uncertain times can be tough, but mental health matters. We'll talk with MATC counselor Christine Litwin about how to maintain a healthy state of mind. We'll also listen in on a call with Tammy Metschke about MATC's partnership with Lakeland University. Let's take a look.
I'm Christine Litwin. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I am a member of the counseling services team at MATC. I am a resource when students are experiencing issues that might be impeding their academics, such as relationship, food insecurity, feelings of depression, anxiety. I also get referrals from staff and faculty that might be concerned about a student, and I'll make the connection with that student, offer my services, and hopefully I can support them while they're continuing their academic goals at MATC. Students can access counseling services from our website, matc.edu. We're listed under Mental Health Matters and Counseling Resources. We have an email, counseling@matc.edu, that the team monitors daily, several times a day. We also have our personal emails that we'll give to students and phone numbers that we check several times a day. So we respond to students, staff, and faculty during the regular work week. I think everyone, the whole campus, misses the face-to-face contact we have with students. We have been doing phone contacts, and students have been great, being willing for us to call them when it's convenient in their schedule. I know we're also working on doing telehealth, and we have, I know some staff has done Zooms also with students, but mainly it's phone contact. It is difficult, but I think everyone understands that having some contact until we can get back to somewhat normal and see them in person has to be it for right now. And then we'll set up a time where we can phone them, talk with them. Some students I actually have a regular schedule for once a week, twice a week, till they're feeling they're ready and they're coping a little better. So it's really up to the person once I make that connection. The best thing I can say for our students is know that this isn't going to last forever. Know that there's people out there to support you, and know that everyone has up and down days. That's just the situation we're in right now. Please reach out and know we can support each other. Even counselors have bad days, and we need to reach out. It's a stressful time, but we'll make it through.
Furthering their education. Tammy Metzke is an accountant instructor here at MATC and tells us a little bit more about the different degrees available for students and some advantages about this new opportunity.
Lakeland has, I believe, 14 bachelor's degrees and I think 3 master's degrees. Many of the bachelor's degrees would be in what is MATC's business management pathway, but they do have others as well. Education and early education. They have a bachelor's degree in communication. They have a bachelor's degree in psychology, organizational management. But I would have to say probably at least half of them would fall into our business management pathway. So I think the biggest advantage to this is that the entire 60 to 70 credits will transfer over. So basically students go in as a junior. There may be a few classes that they have to take over in some of the programs, but the biggest advantage is the students will save time and money. They literally could finish up their bachelor's degree in 18 months to 2 years. And I think that just the saving of time and money. And Lakeland has actually also allowed our students, even once they're at Lakeland, to go back and take a few classes at MATC and transfer them back.
With most MATC students off campus and doing online schooling, there has still been an increase in students transferring to get a higher education.
I think it depends on the program. I can only speak from the accounting program because that's basically where I've taught my 36 years. But I do think we in our program have seen an increase. Because obviously in our field, once you get that bachelor's degree and either your master's degree or your CPA, you're going to make more money and it's going to provide a longer career path for you. It opens up the doors to more opportunities. So for example, in our accounting program, if you have an associate's degree, you could basically be doing the job of a bookkeeper. But, if you go on to get your bachelor's degree and you take an auditing class, now it opens up more career opportunities for you.
If some students are on the fence about transferring, what is some advice you might have for them?
Well, I guess the first thing I would tell them is if you're thinking about doing it, don't wait too long. It's nice to take a little time off. When you see that light at the end of the tunnel, nothing's better. But I would just say don't take too much time off, because the longer you wait, the chances of you going back diminish. When I did my master's degree, I waited 3 years, but that was good for me because I was establishing my career at the time. But I would just say that's the first thing. If you're going to take some time off, but don't take too much time off. And then just number 2, I think in this day and age when there's so many people looking for jobs, you kind of have a leg up if you've got a bachelor's degree. So if an employer has to choose probably between a bachelor's degree and associate's degree, if they have all these people that they're looking at, I think that, anytime you can further your education, that just gives you a notch up on the other person.
Getting a notch up is always good when it comes to education. If students are interested in transferring to Lakeland University or any other college, visit a pathway advisor for more information on transferring.
MATC faculty is there for their students every step of the way, whether that's helping to cope with stress or providing new and exciting ways to further their students. Right, Josie?
Absolutely. Our students are our best assets, and we want to make sure that they're being successful in their academic tracks.
Cool. Our health services pathway is leading the way for students who are getting their nursing degree during the pandemic. What they learned during class today could save someone's life tomorrow, so take notes.
For a program down at MATC, you have a passion for saving people's lives and staying healthy, you should join the health department. We ran into a few staff members who could explain some of the changes in the health field.
COVID has really changed how our students are learning. We are doing all of our lectures online and doing Blackboard Collaborate sessions whenever possible. All of our lab and clinicals are actually on campus. I always worry that all of us are protected and making sure that we do not take home COVID from the institution to our families. And so we make sure, again, that they are following those protective equipment, that personal protective equipment, and then just following protocol as far as disinfecting, hand washing, and that sort of thing. Our students also are seeing patients from the outside, so it's not just one-on-one in amongst the students, but they are also seeing patients from off campus. We have so many different programs within the health field. The health care pathway is one of the biggest pathways within the college, and we offer so many different different programs, from associate degree to technical degree to your diplomas, and there is so many different avenues that you can go. If you are not an associate degree type person that you want to get done and get out, you can always go to maybe something that's not exactly in the same realm, but within that same field, such as in dentistry. We have dental hygiene, we have dental assisting, and we even have dental lab tech too. Dental lab tech is not part of the healthcare pathway, but there is also a dental lab tech program. Actually, I think that right now is a great time to come into the health field. I know COVID kind of can scare people away a little bit, but when you're talking the healthcare field, you need to know infection control to begin with, and you need to always treat your patients like everybody is infected. And I've lived through the era of starting to work on patients when AIDS came about and all those other infectious diseases. And actually it's a great time when you have a disease or a virus that's out there to actually get into the field and learn proper infection control right away, because you should be doing those practices whether we have a pandemic or we're in just normal life.
While working in the same field, a teacher and a student perspectives are different. We were able to talk to a student about his studies and current state of the health department.
I definitely like in-person learning more because it's a very hands-on job, and being able to see, people's anatomy in person is a lot different than seeing a picture online, where being able to move them and feel them in person is a lot more beneficial than seeing pictures or someone explaining it. I'm looking to go into CT or MRI because radiography offers a lot of different modalities, but those two are my ones of interest. Doctors that come out to the clinic sites do a really good job at explaining and keeping track of us, and that they really want the best for us, and they always keep note on our progress, so I think that's really good how they do it. I think right now there is a pretty big demand for techs and other healthcare positions, but even bigger locations and more equipment might create even more jobs in the future. I would definitely take notes and remember everything the techs give you, because lots of techs gave me advice, and even if it's something small, like to remember to put their feet in for a exam of their pelvis, I might kind of forget that small detail, but that really comes back to bite you, because you got to remember all these little details for every exam, so just pay attention and take notes.
That is a very dedicated group in the health program, Josie, don't you think so?
Absolutely, they're go-getters.
Yeah, and that's very much needed today. We have a special guest joining us now in the studio, Eric Goss from the College Health and Safety Committee, who is also the Healthcare Pathway Hub Leader. Welcome to the show, Eric. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here. Thank you.
No problem. So can you tell us what you do in your role?
Sure. I am the Operations Director for the Healthcare Pathways Downtown Hub. We are such a large program that we have two main pathway offices, one at Mequon and one downtown, and I manage the day-to-day operations of our health programs downtown.
Okay. And how would you say the current situation of COVID has affected those currently studying the field?
Well, we've had to make some changes, obviously, by moving many of our lectures online and having some of our lab classes move to simulation. This summer was a bit difficult as we had to make up some clinical experience in the hospitals. We don't want to put our students at risk by sending them to facilities, and they weren't ready to have us yet as they were dealing with the COVID outbreak. They are working with our students now and we're caught up, so hopefully we will graduate a new large group of healthcare workers in December ready to join the front lines in this fight against COVID.
That is cool. So have you seen a change in the enrollment at all?
Actually, no. If anything, our enrollment is doing really well for new students coming in this fall and starting in their programs in January. There's a lot of interest in healthcare now, and there's a lot of need, so jobs are very much available across all levels of healthcare.
So what would you say has been the biggest barrier or challenge during everything that has happened?
Well, I think one thing that people need to realize about healthcare workers is that we're the types that go toward the fire. You know, when there's an issue, we sign up for this. We know what the risks are, and this is a choice that we make. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a barrier, but just understanding that our students are the best prepared. They know how to keep themselves safe, and they are willing to sign up for that risk to serve the community and to advance their careers.
That is cool. That is really amazing. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise today. You and the faculty really do so much for the school, don't you, Eric?
I think that we are a wonderful program and a great career choice for all the students out there, and we look forward to continue to serve the community and the school.
Awesome. The challenges of COVID have certainly required balancing family life with working at home. Let's take a look at the video example about a family who has done just that, made by MATC student producers over the summer.
The coronavirus changed the look of families when transitioning from a normal life to lockdown mode.
The transition was hard, especially with trying to make sure that my children stay up on their schoolwork and that I'm continuing to do the requirements of my job.
It's been pretty crazy. World's turned a little upside down for sure. Before COVID hit, I was doing a lot of traveling out to prospects, to trade shows, to conferences, to work meetings, and all of that got put on hold.
Despite maintaining balance when it comes to taking care of family, they also balanced to work from home and kept themselves focused.
It was challenging. I think it would be challenging for anyone. When you're here at home, I'm expected to be mom, and then when I'm at work, I'm expected to be an employee. For me, I definitely used music, and so I would put my earbuds in and just try to tune everything out so I could just concentrate on what I was doing. We did a lot of conference calls with work, and so I did have my earbuds in quite a bit, or I was on camera, which then forces you to pay attention, right? So to focus.
I think a ton of credit to Ariana, my wife, for taking that on for me and really making sure that I'm able to focus on work. She's a personal trainer, so her gym was shut down during the pandemic, and so I'll help out here and there when she needs me to, over lunch or, at mid-morning I'll come down and say hello and do everything I can to help her with the kids. Well, I think working from home, I kind of know that you got to get out of bed, you got to walk around, you got to act like you're going into work every single day, whether that's taking a walk outside or getting up, having your coffee, doing some reading before you get into work mode. And then once you get in the office, it's closing the door just like you'd be, at a different office building or something like that, your normal day to day. So it's just trying to stay focused on how can I make this as normal as possible. And fortunately with me in my role, a lot of it was already emails and calls and virtual presentations.
For Melissa and Kyle, setting the boundaries and making adjustments with their children had an impact while staying home.
You just kind of have to prioritize your time and make sure that you're taking care of both. My biggest thing was that I tried to set boundaries for myself, and by boundaries I mean that when work was done at 5 or 5:30, that I stopped working, and I tried to maintain a work-life balance, which isn't always easy to do, but I really tried to make that priority so that I could keep both going?
It's interesting because they're still too young for school, so we didn't have to do any virtual education with them. And they're still not really understanding what's all going on. The only thing is our neighbors, the neighbor kids are out playing, and it's with COVID, the neighbors were like, well, let's do more distancing versus having them play. And so they've been a little sad there where they can't go out and play with their friends, or like 4th of July right now, no parades, no big fireworks or big family events. So I think it's more of the kind of their social life that they're missing out on a little bit, but I still think they're, too young to comprehend what's going on and the reasons for it.
The most important thing is taking care of family and keeping everyone else safe.
Taking the precautions, like getting together with family or other friends, just kind of distancing ourselves and doing a lot more family stuff. Over the weekend we'll do a fort here in the living room, set up a tent, and just make the best of our time at home without, again, seeing other family or friends.
So for me, with trying to work and teach at the same time, we definitely were very intentional with our time, and we took lots of breaks. Breaks for mom and breaks for them. I wanted to make sure that if they were getting agitated or they were getting frustrated, that we just took a time out and we just reset, because learning that way doesn't help anybody.
Melissa's son Dominic, being a 4th grader, had to adjust to online classes due to the pandemic.
So I had to work with my mom, but we did like one Zoom call, but that would probably be homeschool, because you can stay home and you can have a little recess, if you want to, at school you can't bring a phone or something. So when you could come home and you just want to take a little break, you can just ask your mom, hey, can I take a little recess, 15 minutes or whatever. You can play on the iPad for 15 minutes.
This is the new normal.
That was a wonderful piece on how that family is finding balance. And now it's time for a quick look at the upcoming week in the MATC Minute. Carrie?
Thanks, Josie. Today is Monday, October 19th, which marks the end of MATC's first academic quarter of the fall semester. Midterm grades should be entered soon, so check in with your professors to see your class progress. No classes for all MATC students on Tuesday, October 20th, as all campuses are closed for MATC Day. Thursday, October 22nd, is an MATC Job Shop Workday. Expand your networks and meet potential new employers in 2 online workshops. At 11 a.m., an Employer Spotlight event from Lasada Senior Living Campus, and at noon, a LinkedIn Profile Bootcamp. Check with the Job Shop for more details. Early voting times have been updated for Milwaukee residents who want to vote early at the downtown campus. The new times this week are from Wednesday, October 21st to Saturday, October 24th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Is this your last semester? The deadline to apply for the virtual commencement ceremony is Saturday, October 31st. The ceremony live streams on Friday, December 11th. That concludes our MATC Minute. Back to you, Josie.
Thank you, Carrie. Now for a look at an MATC success story. Former MATC student Dr. Mark Felsheim sets a safe example as executive director of the Oak Creek campus.
Guest, Dr. Mark Felsheim. Dr. Mark, can you tell us a little bit how you are keeping staff and students safe during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Sure. The number one priority, of course, is safety, keeping our students safe, keeping our employees safe, and protecting the greater community. So the majority of our classes are either virtual or of a kind of a mixed media, so we reduce the number of students on campus. But for those who do have to come on campus, we are doing, everybody had to complete a health affirmation statement. We check their temperatures when they come in. We verify they've done the affirmation. And then we've created a website where they can go and let us know if they have an illness or they test positive for COVID. Our students have just proven to be so resilient. You know, they're such a variety of students, but so many are challenged already, and then this has really put an extra layer of challenge on them. But they've responded so well, and I'm particularly proud of the students that I've seen on campus. They're practicing safe protocols, they're wearing their masks, they're social distancing, as I mentioned. If they're sick, they're not coming in. Literally, to my knowledge, we have not had any student, when they do the temp check when they come here, have a fever. So that tells me that they're staying home when they're not well. So that's very encouraging. So I'm very proud of the students. And I firmly believe we're going to come out of this better. We're already learning some new techniques on how to educate people and be more responsive and be more flexible. And I think we're going to all come out of this stronger. That's my belief. I mean, we're going to be closer, and we're realizing now the value of friendship and the value of socializing and so forth. So I'm hopeful for the future.
That wraps up this week's episode of MATC Now. A special thanks to Eric Goss and, of course, Josie Veal for keeping us informed. Join us next week as we look at the Environmental Health Program and an MATC alumni's work at the Waukesha Water Treatment Plant. For MATC Now, I'm Carrie Mahomes. Thanks for watching.